Hi all, it's Jan and welcome to the Jan Files. Don't forget to subscribe above so you don't miss any new videos. Today we're going to go back to the big ugly bill and talk about nursing homes. So let's get an overview of nursing homes. There's three different entities that run nursing homes. They're either for-profit, nonprofit, and private equity. 70% of all nursing homes are run as a for-profit business. 56% of those facilities are part of chains. The private equity is a whole different ballgame than the for-profit in the sense that they often create different ways to monetize their facilities. For instance, they create different companies that they use to provide services to the facility. They also sometimes will buy the building that the facility is in so that they can lease it back to the nursing facility. So they're on both sides of the profit stream. It allows them to show, ooh, we're not spending, we're not making a lot of money, but actually they are because it's being dispersed in different manners. Private equity is actually a little bit scary. It is said, and let me read this before I screw up, that nursing homes owned by private equity have been linked to cost cutting and reduced staffing, correlating with higher rates of resident harm and mortality. That's from the New Yorker, folks. I will put the link in the bottom. Here we once again are in a place where money is more important than people. And so that's kind of the overview of the industry. Nonprofit, which are run by community associations or faith-based organizations, are literally the best if you can get into one. They tend more to focus on real care. And the for-profits often are focused on making sure that they're making a buck, obviously, which often leads to less staffing and certainly less nurses, professional nurses around. So that's kind of a really quick overview, except for one point. Let's just point out what salaries of CEOs are. So a salary of a nonprofit is anywhere from 150 to maybe 400,000. And a salary of somebody who is the CEO of a for-profit can easily range from 400,000 to at least 1.5 million, with additional bonuses, with additional stock options and benefits that all come with it, right? So you're having companies where the CEO, sort of like the insurance industry, right? They're denying people all day long, right? But they're making 20, 30, whatever $1 million a year as CEO, but they can't afford to make sure that people on their plans get health insurance or actually health care. So the nursing home industry is part of all of that, and people suffer. And because of the lack of staff, the lack of services. And so what happened was back in April of 2024, Biden's Health and Human Services introduced a new rule, which meant that the new nursing home facilities, first of all, had to provide them with an evaluation of what they are offering and what their staff looks like, etc. They also said that from now on, they're going to have time they were giving them time to implement it, that there had to be a professional nurse there 24/7. I honestly, because I just haven't had to deal with this issue, didn't know. I can't imagine a nurse not being there all 24 hours. I mean, obviously not the same nurse, but nursing care of that level. A professional, health professional, being in a nursing home facility. So what the Biden Health and Human Services said, okay, well, you need a nurse there 24/7. You need to make sure patients are getting adequate care every day to the tune of about 3.5 hours a day, which is obviously not just a nurse, but a nurse and the health aides, etc. And that we are going to make sure that you follow our requirements, right? At the time that this rule was was hopefully going to be put into effect, only 6% of all nursing homes met those requirements. 6%. So it was an effort by the Biden administration to deal also with what happened during COVID and the horrors that happened in nursing homes, because they were not staffed properly. They were not following protocols. And as a result, patients died. And so they tried to put this in place. A group of nursing homes sued. And the a judge in Texas said, okay, the H&H, Health and Human Services, didn't have the right to do this. Then another judge afterwards came along and said, oh, yes, we support these rules. And then, unfortunately, came the big, beautiful, ugly bill, which said they're going to put a moratorium on these regulations. Ready for it? For 10 years. 10 years. I still can't believe that having a nurse there 24 hours is something that these nursing facilities can't handle, or having the enough appropriate staff to take care of people. You can't tell me that when you're paying your CEOs millions in benefits and salaries. Remember, 70% are for-profit institutions. All of this falls under the Centers for Medicaid or Medicare Services, or I'm not sure, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever. But they also were given an authority under the rule to make sure and enforce these requirements. All of it's gone, folks. So there are some requirements in place for nursing homes. That has been accomplished over the years, but clearly from COVID, we understood that we needed to do more. And when you read, like I said, I'll put some links besides the New Yorker, but when you read some of these stories of what happened when a particular institution, which was nonprofit, couldn't do it anymore, a for-profit company came in, and the care just went like this. Literally, somebody wasn't getting their hair washed for a month. People weren't getting bathed. People were not getting water when they needed it. It goes on and on. And the fact is that we continuously support corporations making the big buck over people. If you're not pissed off about that, I don't understand you, right? Everybody has a mother, a father, an uncle, an aunt, a family member. And often we're going to find ourselves in a place where we're going to have to put them in an institution because we can't give them the level of care they need. When you put them in those institutions, you hope they're getting the level of care they need. And all I can say, folks, this is just yet another piece of this legislation that has nothing to do with making America a better place. It has nothing to do with fraud or waste, right? This is, hey, wink, wink. I don't know if I winked right. Anyway, wink, wink. We're going to support the big boys, the corporate boys. And I know there are some women on those ranks, but you get my drift. So another wonderful aspect of the big, ugly bill. Take care. See you soon. Bye.